Hello, everybody. This is Scott Hudspeth with Agent Mastermind. So excited to have you guys here. So I'm on a call with a good friend of mine his name's Matt Cavanaugh. And Matt went from being burnt out, full-time solo agent to running a team of 5 agents in 18 months. And here's the best part. Matt is going to walk us through the mindset and process of installing systems in your business, which will increase overall production, while my favorite part, working less hours. Matt Cavanaugh, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you're in beautiful California, and it's early over there for you guys over there, probably just getting your first cup of coffee. And so welcome to the call, man.
Hey, thank you so much. It is wonderful here in California. I want to obviously say thank you to Scott for providing this amazing opportunity to be able to share information and connect with you guys. I want to thank Matt Johnson for inviting me on as well. Super excited because today we're going to tackle how we can work less, make more money, and just make a better, absolute better life for ourselves. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you as much value as I possibly can. I'm going to give you free or close to free systems that you can use that will make major differences in your business. So today's focus is going to be a little bit different than, maybe the normal call where we talk about increasing sales. Today's call is going to be focused on increasing your time out of the office, while at the same time increasing your revenue or at least not losing any. So I want to be able to give you some key action items that you can take away, that you can make massive improvements in your business. And again, improvements that don't require you to spend any money and hopefully very, very little extra time.
Beautiful.
All right. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself just so you guys know where I'm coming from. I got my degree in math, and I was a teacher there for 2 years. So just so you guys have an idea, in California, teachers don't make very much money, especially with the cost of living. Our starting salary was a little under 40 grand, and in the first 2 years that I taught, they cut our pay 8.5%. So we went from making under 40 grand to 8.5% less, and then by the time you pay for health care, we were taking home about $25,000 a year. And so with supporting my wife and my girls, it wasn't working. So we had to find a solution, had to find something different. And so I told my wife that I was going to go leave for a sales job, and she was absolutely terrified of the concept of me leaving a sales job or teaching job, which she thought I was good at, for a sales job. And her impression of salespeople were obviously tall, attractive, maybe a little bit sleazy. And she goes, Matt, you don't fit any of those. So she was scared to death. And just so you guys know, because I don't know if you can see me in person, I'm going to give you a picture of what I look like so you know what she's talking about, right? Right? There is nothing about me that's going to allow people to just choose me because I'm looks or whatever, right? So she had legitimate concerns. What she didn't know was that telling me she was scared that I would be successful was probably the thing that's going to make us millionaires, over time, right? Because I didn't tell her this, but I thought, she says, hey, Matt, I'm not sure if you can make it in that world, and I'm thinking, I'm going to dominate. So I left the teaching world, and I went into a corporate sales job that sells industrial services. Basically, I went from teaching to selling industrial laundry, right? So not crazy glamorous, but I was 100% committed to doing whatever it took to be able to build business. I wanted to be free from the teaching world. I wanted to be free from even this sales job that I was going into, and I wanted to be able to kind of create my own destiny in life. So, and I don't know if you know, obviously as Common Core got rolled out, teachers are pretty restricted in what they can do, and like, for example, in my school that I taught in, they made us use popsicle sticks to randomly select kids. I taught high school, and so what I did is I generated a random number generator, and said, hey, let's use this instead. It's the same concept, right? But they said, no, you got to use popsicle sticks. That's the proven method, right? So you're going to realize, if you guys haven't realized already, that for those of you who have worked corporate life, it sucks, right? Because you have people that are often far less intelligent than you are, who are going to tell you how to do things, and a lot of times it just doesn't make any sense at all. So fast forward, I start this sales job. It's like a 40 or 50-hour a week job, but I committed like 10 or 15 hours a week to just studying the craft of being a salesperson, right? Reading books, listening to podcasts, hustling, and then just obviously, doing the best that I could, and within 6 months was able to go from no sales experience to being one of the top salesmen in the Western quarter of our company who had several thousand employees. So definitely want to stress here, and I'll stress it throughout this call, any skill that you need to be successful in your business, whether it's leadership, sales, admin, whatever it is, it's not born, right? You can teach it, right? You can teach it and you can be taught it. And
Absolutely.
You can learn it through hard work. And so, I was dedicated to learning the sales profession, and it happened. So, we get in, we're starting to become more and more successful at the sales job, and then I started to notice that there was crazy inefficiencies in this company. I mean, multi-million dollar inefficiencies. They had over 300 salesmen across the U.S. and Canada, and they were still using paper instead of using electronic software for our contracts. So between the labor and the paper, there was probably $4 million a year in just wasted efforts because they didn't use technology. So I committed myself. I actually got connected. My father-in-law connected me to a local programmer, and I talked to him, and he taught me a few things. And so I started to build out a program that would automate this process. I figured if they haven't done it yet, I'll just go ahead and and get it done. And so I started working on it and got the concept up, and we started running it at our local team, our local sales team. It was working. And then so, my boss presented me to his boss saying, hey, we got this thing. We need to start looking at it as a company. They said, okay. They flew me out to their corporate. And of course, like a lot of corporates, they didn't want to pay me for the work. So I had done it off hours, but they still said, oh, no, we should get this for free. And I said, no, I don't think you should. And it led to some really, really awkward conversations. And of course, I left there several years ago. They still haven't implemented the system. They're still living in the dinosaur age. But the thing that was valuable to me, both in the teaching world and in this world, is I realized, number one, I didn't control my destiny. And number two, I was getting tired of being told what I could and couldn't do by people who, really had not nearly as much probably, vision and business sense even for their own business. So, for those of you obviously that are already lenders, already agents, just know that you're in the right spot. You're in an industry where you have unlimited earning potential, and you have the ability to be your own CEO. And so, just super awesome that you're here. So from that point where that software deal went wrong, I began plotting my exit for good. And so I was looking at industries and looking at the real estate industry. The margins are amazing. The amount of money you make per transaction is just awesome. And so I knew, hey, if I can get into that field, let's do it. So my mother-in-law at the same time, coincidentally, was going to these free real estate conferences hosted by these people who are usually scamming people. So I was bound and determined not to let her lose money, or at least to be a part of that process to help her make some money. And so we went to these conferences a little bit, and then I ended up studying on my own, and we ended up flipping some deals and making some profit. And then I knew for sure, okay, this is the path I'm going down. So I left that job and started my full-time real estate career. I think it's like 19 or 20 months ago, basically, March of 2015. So for those of you listening, you'll see our journey, and you can realize it doesn't take a long time to build a team. It doesn't take a long time to become successful, and basically it's just a matter of setting your mind to it and going out and getting it done. So our 2015 numbers, this was with me as a solo agent and one assistant, are on the left side, not the right side. We did 26 sides, a little over $8 million in volume, and $220,000 in GCI. My focus in 2015 was solely just to get out there and hustle, do open houses, call expireds, whatever it took to get the business. And then in 2016, my goal became totally different. And this is where I think I'm a little bit different than a lot of the, people out there, is I wanted to transition so quickly from being an agent working nights and weekends to owning a business where I didn't have to do those things. So my 2016 goal was to build a team to install systems so that by the end of this year, I would have a business that didn't require me in production to provide a living for me. So our overall production since March of 2015 is just under 20 million, 68 closings, a little over 500,000 in GCI, and our buyer-seller splits are about 62-38, just so you guys have a reference, because I know those are questions that commonly come up.
So how many people on the call today are working nights and weekends and are kind of would like to not do that anymore? Is there a lot of people on the call that like pretty much let I don't know, Matt, maybe this is the right way to say it or maybe it's not, but how many people let the business control them instead of control their business as a CEO of a corporation? Great way to put it?
Great way of saying it. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm guessing it's a lot. Yeah, the business. Okay, what's this one, Carla? The business controls me right now. Okay, so yeah, and I think that's the case with most. So you're going to give us some stuff to help with that. And obviously, it doesn't happen overnight. The business isn't perfect, but you've really systematized this to make it a better place to be. And I think that the reason we're all here is to try and make the mortgage and real estate business a better place to be for everybody. Not only growth, but freedom along with the growth as you grow. So thanks again for being here, man.
Yeah, and the great thing is that you don't have to make every change all at once. You can make them one at a time. I know, and we'll get into this as we go, some of the biggest fears of building a systematized business, a leveraged business where you walk away, is that you start to step out of the process. So your clients are going to experience somebody else. I know another fear is I've got to be there 24/7 for my clients. You don't. And if you build a great leverage team, your team can be there 24/7, and they can get unbelievable customer service that doesn't even require your involvement. So this is our team structure, just so you know what our team looks like. Okay, remember, so about 10 or 11 months ago, it was me and a part-time assistant, right? So now we have a director of operations that's here locally, a listing agent, an ISA, a buyer's agent who doubles as a showing assistant, an agent who also speaks Spanish, 2 admin VAs overseas. We have 2 programmers and 1 part-time graphic designer.
Awesome. All right. So go back to that for a second. So CEO, team lead. So you hired somebody to run the show more, which is what I love about this whole thing. You hired a director of operations. So you got somebody in charge of all of that. You are not the one directing everybody.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, one of the greatest things that I did was I hired a coach to coach me in my hiring and beginning stages of having a director of operations. Because I think if most people are honest, you know, they're control freaks and they're scared, right? When you start giving away access to your clients and to your processes, you're absolutely scared. And, you know, you might even think you're not scared, but just wait till you're in it. And so I hired a coach and gave her the permission to tell me, Matt, you're being overbearing here. You know, you hired this person, you got to let go. And you got to make a choice. You're either going to choose to be a prisoner to your business forever, or you're going to choose to live a life of freedom. And that choice comes down to whether or not you're going to entrust other people to be a part of your organization. And you look at every major successful organization, from, you know, McDonald's to Google to whatever, they have hundreds and thousands of employees that they trust their clients with, right? And so if most people are honest, they know there's enough transactions to go around. In my town of 70,000 people, there was 1,000 transaction size last year.
Wow.
There was like $10 million in commissions that were doled out. If I had 10% market share, I would make $1 million in my town in commissions. You know, I mean, there's plenty of business to go around. Worst case scenario, you hire somebody, doesn't work out, 2 clients are frustrated, you just go get 2 more clients. Right? Learn the process. There's not really a reason to be scared. You just really have to make that choice if you want to live that leveraged life, or that, you know, if you want to be a prisoner to your business, or, you know, basically you have a job is what it amounts to. So you can hire these in whatever order you like. Obviously, my encouragement is to hire your admin staff first, and then go in the sales side. But I will say, for those of you whose disc profile is more of an admin role, you can hire sales staff first. Right? I mean, when you look at the disc profile, every part of every personality is represented in the real estate transaction and in the loan process. You need the detail-oriented person. You need the people person. You need the negotiator. You need all of those people. Whatever you are amazing at, you know, that's the thing that you can hang on to for the longest if you want to. while you build out the other team, or you can hire it first since you know it so well. I mean, either way, if you make key hires and you have a good system in place, your business will grow.
So, Matt, what's ISA? Somebody's asking what ISA is.
Perfect. ISA is an inside sales agent. So
Okay.
when we began to break out our systems, when we began to basically, a system is just defining what you do. So when I defined what I did every day, my goal was to create training, to create a process for everything that I did so I can give it away. And so the ISA role was my need to no longer make outbound prospecting calls. So our ISA makes outbound prospecting calls and they field incoming leads. So basically in some teams they would call it an OSA. So this is kind of an OSA-ISA combo. They handle our sign calls. They handle, outbound calls, and then when there's no more leads of our own to handle, then they make outbound either expired calls or circle prospecting calls.
Got it.
So our ISA is setting anywhere from 5 to 10 nurtures a day, and usually a listing appointment, a quality listing appointment every 2 or 3 days. And then, but they're setting maybe what we would call average or less than quality listing appointments, maybe 1 or 2 a day.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah, so nothing in your business absolutely has to have you in it, and so the ISA is the person that generates a lot of opportunities for our listing agent.
Here's a question coming in from Andy. Where were your new employees worried to jump on board since you had only been doing this for a very short amount of time?
All
Good
right,
question.
love it.
Great question. Great question.
So, and I'm going to make this question the same as a lot of questions that you guys are going to get asked, because I don't know what the range of experience and volume that you guys have is. But that question to me is the same question as why would someone hire a listing agent that's never took a listing before, right? Or any of those questions, right? So people usually are going to make decisions about you based on their perception of your ability to lead and your confidence.
Amen.
Your experience in something is rarely going to be a factor. I mean, I remember from the very beginning of hopping into real estate, winning listings against 20-year veteran agents, right, because I was confident in my sales ability, right? And so if you can answer the question of how do I get a listing with having less experience than a other listing agent, it's the same question, right? What value do you bring to the table?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's going to be different for every person. If you're young, they're going to hire you or they're going to join your team because you're young and you have passion. If you're old, it's because you have wisdom. It doesn't matter what you are, what you look like, any of those factors. You take the best of who you are and you present that, and they're going to choose you for that reason. And if that's not what they want, they're not a fit for you anyways, because that's who you are, right? So you don't have to present yourself as something you're not. You just say, here is why I would join my team. And if you can say it with confidence, you're going to win a lot of people, right? You're going to win a lot of listings. You're going to win the people to come to your team because they're going to see that this is the way. So in our market, 95% of our listings are taken at 5%. But on our team, we take listings at 6%. And we do that in spite of competition that's been in the business for a lot longer than us. Simply because what we tell the client is, we're unbelievable at social media marketing. We're unbelievable at these items, and that's what sells homes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They buy into what we're saying because it's true. They buy into it because we're confident. And the other thing is people buy, and you guys have probably heard this before, people buy from who they like, who they know, and who they trust. Right? So when you go into that listing appointment or when you go into that appointment with bringing on that prospective agent onto your team, it's all about them, 100%. Right? What are they wanting to accomplish? What time frame do they want to accomplish it in? Sincerely evaluate whether you can make that happen for them. Can I sell this house at that price in that time frame? It's a simple yes or no. Right? If I'm bringing an agent on my team, what are their goals? Right? Can I help them meet those goals realistically?
Mm-hmm.
If the answer to that is yes, it's all about them. You get to know their situation, who they are, and it is amazing just how many salespeople will not ask money questions about you. I remember when I got in the business, 19 months ago, and I was looking for a brokerage, and I interviewed 10 brokers from big names like Century 21 to small local names. What was amazing to me is out of 10 interviews, one broker was concerned enough to ask me about my goals and my vision and align his responses with those questions. The other 9 were like, I've got brand name recognition, I've got this, I've got that, I've got this, and I didn't feel connected to them at all. And not only did I not feel connected, when I asked them, hey, how am I going to make my first sale with your company, it was always, you're going to make your first sale by calling your friends and family. Right? What do I need you for if I'm calling my friends and family? I know how to do that. Right? Yep. So it's all about finding out who they are, what they want, and then just, meeting those needs. Yeah.
Here's Matt. Here's some awesome. Dude, I love the questions you guys are asking. So, ISA coming from VA or in the office?
In the office. So, there's a lot of people who have experimented with both. In my personal opinion, I think the in-office licensed person is a much better way to go. And the reason I say that is this: when you have a VA from overseas, they're a lot less expensive, probably 10 times less expensive. The problem is that I can't tell you the number of times that they're going to get a really good opportunity, and at the end of the day, they're going to lose it because they don't know where Modesto is, or they don't know anything about the town. And so, you're going to spend a certain amount of time, effort, money, training to train this person. A lot of times they're not licensed, so you have that potential headache. And then we're in an industry where each sale is a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so, even if I could make 2 times the ROI with a VA, my business will ramp a lot slower, and I'll need to have an army of VA. So in my opinion, a well-trained local licensed agent is by far the long-term, more secure, safer bet to grow your business.
Okay, cool. Eric is asking, thanks for asking this, Eric, what criteria do you use for hiring director of operations? Great question. Okay,
so I sat down and I thought about what are the things that are most important to me. Right? And so if your company is like really small, it's just like it's you, maybe it's a TC, it's going to be probably a little bit different than if you've got 10 or 15 agents and you need to bring somebody in and they need to fit that mold. The biggest thing for me is I'm hiring people to get my time to do something else, to build other parts of the business, other businesses, or just to have more time for my family. So the most important quality, other than honesty, integrity, and loyalty, the most important quality is resourcefulness. And so somebody who can learn things quickly and can learn with limited information is, to me, the most important skill set you can have. And so as I break down some of the systems as we go through today, I think it'll become extremely clear how we can easily test somebody's resourcefulness. Yeah, so that would be the number one thing.
Cool. And then how does an ISA get paid? Base plus commission, or how do you pay that person?
Yeah, I'm commission only because that's what the ISA wanted. I offered them 3 options. So your typical model in across the country, from what I've heard, is typically it's like a 5 to 10% commission on top of a $2,000 a month salary. It's typically what I hear. Then there's other models that are 15 to 20%, commission only. So what I did is I gave my ISA the option. I said, hey, look, here's the thing. I'll pay you any one of these. I'll let you choose. If you think you can just crush it, I don't want to hold you back from making. I don't care if my ISA makes $1 million a year. I hope he makes $1 million a year, right? Because then we'll be making a ton of money. So I just said, you pick the plan that works for you. If you need that stability for your family, we'll pay you the base salary. If you pick the commission only, then obviously you have way more upside. So I even gave the ISA the option. You can call for 30 days, and until I write you your very first check, you get to decide what payment plan. So he called for 30 days, had set so many listing appointments, and I think we took like 3 or 4 or 5 listings that first month. And so he counted the commissions, and he was like, commission only's got to be the way for me. So he's commission only.
Perfect. Let's move on to some of the system attack, like and then we'll get some questions at the end. There.
Beautiful. Okay. So why are systems so important? And I want you to ask yourself one question, right? And that question is, how much do I want freedom in my business? How much do I want to be able to walk away from my business? The answer to that question is the same answer you have as to how fast should I build my systems. The faster you build your systems, the faster you have freedom from your business. The reason I chose to talk about systems as opposed to like creating more revenue is that most people can generate enough revenue fairly simply, right? It's a lot of people that will spend 30 years in a jail cell called their real estate business or their loan business because they don't put systems into place. If only they realized how easy it is, they would have been free to live their life so much better, 20 years earlier. So if you want freedom in your business and that's important to you, then you should get serious about systems. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go cover the process that we go through in order to create our training, our systems, and our processes, and how it saves us tremendous amounts of time. You guys are going to be blown away at how easy this is. I mean, we're talking about you could be in 5th grade and put some of the systems that we put together. Not because they're not good, but because it's just really not that complicated. There's just a lot to do. It's not very challenging. So the first thing that you should do is build a list of everything that you do in a day, right? Whether it's inputting a listing, sending out flyers, making calls, chatting with someone on Facebook. We literally have scripts to teach people how to chat on Facebook so that we can use our VAs in that case to have sales conversations to make sales for us while we sleep, because their daytime is our nighttime, right? We have people to respond to our clients at 3 in the morning in a lot of cases because we have that leverage, right? But it came as an example of simply writing down how the conversation goes so that our VAs could follow in that process. And since it's a written process, they have time to think it through. Okay, so make a list of everything, and I would start with the things that you no longer want to do. Say, I don't want to do this thing anymore, just write it down. Okay? And the second thing is to record everything you do. And so what I'm going to do right now is give you a free tool. I think you can get a premium version for like $15 a year if you want to have all the features. But you can, for free, record your screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break away from this presentation. You guys can see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. All right. So if you open the Screencast-O-Matic, and the link's in here, I can send you guys the link. You literally can come in here, and you can click the record button, and you get to make a choice between recording your screen, right, doing the webcam, so you guys will get to see me, doing both,
awesome.
Right?
Oh, both. Okay, cool.
Yeah, whatever you want, whatever interaction you want. And literally you press the record button and it's capturing your audio. It's capturing what you're doing. So if you don't want to do inputs of listings anymore, just go input your next 3 to 5 listings, record every single one of them. And now here's where we're going to touch back on that hiring question, right? What you can do is you can record a video of how to do something.
Right.
And when you're going to make your next hire, you can give them the video link and say, what I want you to do is I want you to make a checklist of everything that we need to do based on this video, and I want you to input this test listing, if you will, right, or whatever the test is. And you can watch them figure out from your training what to do. And here's where the beauty of this all comes in. You have a certain training style, and it's either amazing, it's average, or it's horrible. Whatever it is, it's your training, right? You're going to find out how well your potential new director of operations can follow instructions, your instructions, and get something done without needing help. If they respond extremely well to several of these tasks, you know that your training time is going to be about 0 because you're just going to record what you do in your everyday duties. You're going to give them a link, and they're going to just start to replace you.
So let me just break this down for you guys. And dude, this is brilliant. So so when you do something, most of the stuff we do as agents, or you do as agents, is online. So you're on your computer. So when you're showing somebody how to do something, instead of show them, record what you do and say, do this. On every time I send you a new listing, do this. Here's the recording. Listen to it. Let me know if you have any questions. And like he can play it over and over and over and over until he gets it. And then you send him a listing, he just watches the recording and does it. It's just a great training video. You hire somebody else, you already have a training video for what to do. So if they leave or if they're like whatever, so it's just brilliant, man. Great job on that.
Yeah, you can hire, and then if you're building a great business, it's going to continue to grow. And so when your director of operations, who is doing a lot of tasks, gets too busy and they have to hire an understudy, they can hire their understudy just as fast as you did, right? And one of the biggest problems about hiring in most cases is people lose so much time selling and their revenue drops. So now they're paying out more money to this admin, they're making less money, and it creates a problem. They go crazy and they say, screw it, I'm going to go back to the old method, right? So it's important to be able to create a hiring process where you can continue to basically increase revenue from the get-go, right? And give your staff a model of how to effectively hire, right? Teach them what's important, right? Resourcefulness, those sorts of things. Yeah, and the videos are used. I mean, we've shot over 500 training videos in 10 months.
Wow, 500. Now,
500.
So what is this? So when you click save or when you click done, where does it go? Does it go to your computer? Does it go online? How does Screenomatic work?
Yeah. So okay. So let's record something right now. Okay. So let's say what do you guys want to see? Let's say I want to log into Facebook or something like that. So I'm going to record. It's going to go 3, 2, 1. All right. So this live training video is to show you how to log into your Facebook and make a post or something like that, right? So then we go to Google Chrome. We come into Facebook. I use LastPass, by the way. If you guys don't know about LastPass, check it out. It's amazing. Remember all your
LastPass is the bum. Yep. Online password reminder.
Okay, so I'm in Facebook now. I've logged in. I'm going to make a post by typing in here and clicking post. Okay, then what you do is you can click here and you click done. Okay, that recording video is shot. You can upload it to their website. You can save as a video file. I can change the name of it, and I can place it on my desktop or anywhere, and then I click publish. So let's say I click Facebook FB training video, and I'm going to publish it to my desktop.
Perfect.
It'll take a little time to render. Before this call's over, it's going to show up on my desktop. So what we do is we use free tools. So we use Google Drive to store all of our training.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, because we have 500 videos, we just hit over their 15 gigabytes of storage, so now we pay $10 a month.
It's so cheap, dude. So cheap.
I know. So, yeah, so we have this Facebook training video ready to go. So as soon as it's done, the encoding will remove. We place it up there. And literally, I mean, as I'm doing my job, I'm recording stuff.
Love it.
As our staff are doing their jobs, they record stuff. We have a weekly team meeting call where we go over what we need to do to make our business better. We assign whoever, that person, whoever's doing that, and just say, okay, just make sure you shoot a training video and make sure you link it in our organizational chart. So we shot so much training so fast, we were just inundated with training. Like we didn't know, like we were shooting training videos 5 times in a row because we just had so much. So we finally got an organizational chart that literally links out all the training that we have.
Okay.
And I'll show that to you guys.
Beautiful. Hey guys, real quick, so I'm posting on the bottom right of your little GoToMeeting thing on the right-hand side of your screen, or down under chat, I'm posting the links that he's talking about. So Screenomatic and then Google Drive, which Screencast, I don't know if Screencast or Screencast-O-Matic is free, but dude, for what it does, it's like you might as well call it free because it's everything that's less than $50 a month we consider free. Yeah,
I think it's $15 a year for their premium, like 1.5, and then I think it's free. I think you can record for free, but if you want their full-blown version, it's $15 a year.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. So like was it $1.50 a month or $1.25 a month? So, okay. So you're going to get going on this. You're going to love it, right? Because it's not taking you virtually any extra time, right? You can even hire an assistant for $3 an hour, right, to go ahead and take all these videos you're shooting and upload them to Google Drive for you and create the organizational chart.
Yes.
So you guys probably are going to have some questions on how we organize the data.
Absolutely.
How do I click this?
Now, Matt, you can upload these to YouTube if you want to, right? Carl is asking.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep, absolutely. So you can upload them to anywhere that takes a video upload. Absolutely.
Yep.
Good question, Carla.
Yep. So YouTube, Vimeo, I mean any video-based service, and then obviously with YouTube you can make them private, public, however you want sharing to be. So what we did is we started creating categories for how we subdivided our business, right? Training, reporting, personnel, operations, marketing, media, executive team, and upcoming projects. So these are all links to those folders because I don't know if you guys know much about Google Drive, but like my Google Drive folder organization structure does not show up on my staff's. It's just mine because it's my drive. So what we did is we created a Google document that literally reproduced what that structure looks like. So everybody in our team has access to this document, and they can only access the links that are pertinent to the information they need to know.
Love it.
Okay, so as you'll go through, you'll see, I mean, this is all charted out, so it can go on for a long time. So basically, the first step was to create the organizational chart. Then we taught our director of operations, our admin staff, how to use it. Now the team can create training. They can place it in the right spot. They can link it. And so training in our organization just gets built, and it just happens.
All right, I'm answering some questions, so I'm not ignoring you. So, no, you're good. Let's see. Okay, here's a great question. So James is saying, do you have, this is a great question. I would highly recommend this. So James says, have you ever had new hires record their sessions so you can go back and provide additional feedback? Great idea.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, especially with VAs, I mean, obviously your U.S. staff's important too, but with VAs, it can be extremely important. Absolutely. Yeah, so that you can ask questions. Also, here's the hidden trick too. A lot of times that's what we tell them. Sometimes if there's an employee that we want to see how productive they are, we tell them, hey, write this down so we can address any questions that you have, and then we can see what they did for the last 2 hours. Usually we don't have that problem in our organization, but every now and then you hire someone that's got work ethic issues, and it's a pretty easy way to either get them in shape or figure out what they're doing. So
there you go. Yeah, because most of the stuff you hire for is results driven, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so whatever you have them, if you give them a listing, like this stuff has to be done, and you know about how long it takes. So like, and here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I didn't ask this question, but where do you get your virtual assistants from?
So the first one I hired was through MOD, which is kind of the commonly known, real estate organization that links you to VAs. And then from there, I made an unbelievable hire. I mean, just one of the sweetest, most pleasant, hardworking individuals we have in our organization. She loves to recruit. So we have, I mean, she'll find us every new hire that we need for the rest of time.
And who is this person?
Her name's Jen. So she was the first VA I hired through Mod. Lucked out. I mean, a lot of VAs are good, but I mean, literally, who this person is inside is just a gem of a human being. And she has a heart to bless her community. And so obviously jobs there are hard to come by. And so if I tell her, hey, Jen, I need a graphic designer. Hey, Jen, I need a programmer. Hey, Jen, I need this. I mean, literally, she's got 5 or 10 interviews lined up for me in the next 2 days.
Wow. And is she in the Philippines?
Yes.
Beautiful, dude. Great job. I've had great luck with virtualstafffinder.com, a site that Chris Ducker owns, and he lives in the Philippines, so they do all the work for you. So kind of like what your lady does, they go out, you give them a detailed description of what you're looking for, they go out, find them, send back disc profile, resume, testimonials, recording of their voice, I mean, all the stuff that you need to make a decision. So,
wow, that's awesome. Yeah, and that's key. And obviously, if you do hire VAs, do your due diligence. I mean, really get to know these people. Make it as serious of a hire as you would your staff here. Just because it's 10 times cheaper, don't shortchange the process. I mean, there is just as wide of a range of talent there as there is here. We've hired VAs over there that have been average at best, and we've hired VAs that really rival our staff here. So, absolutely do your homework. Hire based on character first, and then, of course, resourcefulness is a big deal.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Same question a lot. All right. Okay. All right. We'll just go on from there. Let's see. We answered that. Let's just change. Okay. Oh, Jing. Okay. So, what's the difference between Screencast-O-Matic and Jing? Jing is, from what I just saw really quick from what you showed on Screen-O-Matic, Screencast-O-Matic, it looks like Screencast-O-Matic is more for doing all of it. You screen yourself, like it literally taps into your camera, it's all in one. Where Jing is more for your screen. You can pull up your webcam, but it's not all tied in one. It's a little more difficult to use. Screencast-O-Matic looks a little more user-friendly. And just from the short term that you showed me.
Yeah, I'm not crazy familiar with Jing. I know our programmers really like to use it, so like every now and then, like I require them to give me a programming update on some of the software that we're building, and so they'll use Jing for like a 30-second thing. I don't know if Jing has limits on how long you can record or not. I know, I mean, I can record for an hour on screencast, but yeah, I mean, Jing works for sure on small clips. Yeah.
Cool. All right. What else you got, brother?
All right, so how do we use these systems, right? So you make a list of everything that you do, you record it, you create a process for how you create systems, right? How you create training, and then as you make your first hires, you delegate, right? I mean, most of us that are in business because we know how to sell. And so that's going to be the vast majority, and so the quicker you can get this admin person onboarded, just give that process to them. If you've hired a truly gifted admin person, they'll love this. They want the structure. They want the process, right? They don't want to live as freely as we do as salespeople. They want clear instructions. So just give them that ability. Just shoot videos like crazy. Just give it to them. Let them organize it. Let them, come back to you with questions. So here's where you get massive leverage. Your admin staff can create your checklists for you, and then you just review them and add any quick points that we're missing instead of having you to create everything. They'll create your training manuals. They'll create all sorts of value propositions and marketing collateral off of what you do, because you can give it to a graphically minded VA, or you can give it to your director of operations and say, hey, use this training video to create either a checklist that we can give to clients, or other marketing media that says all of our processes that we do for our listings, or all the processes that we do for our buyers. And there's so many ideas that I had that I wanted to do for my clients that I could not do, or just wouldn't do as a solo agent. I just didn't have the time. But now that we have really affordable labor, and we have a great process, I mean, we can crank out unbelievable value to our clients that most agents aren't even going to touch, just because we have a machine that's running. And then the biggest thing that we touched on is why create these systems. It's for the hiring. It's for the fact that you put your brain on paper through writing and video, and then, there's no process, including the sales, including the conversations you have with clients, that cannot be duplicated. If you take the time, most people say, oh, well, nobody's going to be able to sell like me in a listing presentation. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe you would go on 10 listing appointments and you would get 10 out of 10. And maybe with great training, your new listing agent hire would get 8 out of 10. But know that if you create that process, you can hire 2 listing agents and get 16 out of 10 instead of you, which are always bound to your time. Right? So that's the key, is you may sacrifice 20% of your business opportunities because you're a better salesman, maybe. I mean, our ego gets pretty big, and Scott and I were talking about this before the call. You'll be amazed. I mean, almost every aspect of my business, I have people in there now that do it better than I do.
Yeah.
And so you would be amazed at how replaceable you truly are, and should be.
How unimportant you are.
How unimportant, yeah. And just remember, the least important people in business make the most money, and they have the best lives.
Absolutely.
And so the faster you get to that point, the better your life, absolutely the better your life will be. So definitely hiring is probably the most critical, making sure quality assurance, all of this is through the creation of these systems. So one concept too is, when you start in the real estate business, you typically have no money, but you have plenty of time. And as things go on, you do income generating activities, you get more sales, and you get busy, right? And then so what agents oftentimes do is they spend money to buy back their time. The crazy thing is that half the time the systems that they buy aren't even that worth it or valuable. This process of just creating a way that you do things can be a virtually free way to get your time back and get it back crazy, crazy quickly. So,
great idea.
Right.
So,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, great. No, good stuff.
So obviously today's election day. I'm not going to get political, but what I will tell you is this: your choice of whether or not you're going to implement this information or other great information out there is infinitely more important than who you vote for today, right? Absolutely. Your taxes may go up, or things may change in our country a little bit, but never as much as what you can manually do in your life and your business right now. right? If you make great decisions, you can increase your business revenue by 40 to 200% in a year, no problem. Whereas you're never going to get that with, whoever the next president is, right? So the biggest thing that you need to do is you need to find out what's important to you. If freedom, if time away from your business is important to you, or at least to have more time to do the things in your business you like, make a commitment to putting systems in, right? You've seen how easy it is. You've seen how affordable it is. Nothing's going to impact your future more than your decision to map out what you want your business to look like, what you want your life to look like.
Go ahead, sorry. No, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so one thing that I didn't even realize the impacts of what this would have on me as a person. So we started creating these systems, and our business changed rapidly. The hires we were able to make, where we were at, in 10 months we went from solo agent to a staff of like 10, and literally we bring in now about $40,000 to $60,000 a month in GCI without my involvement, right? So that's just a huge transformation. So what I did personally is I said, hey, if this works for my business, this should work for my family. I have 2 girls. I have one that's 7 and one that's 4. And we started to have a nightly meeting. In the morning, we get up. Now that I'm not in production, I can have breakfast with my kids at 7:38 in the morning. And I can set out goals for them in the day, and we can discuss it. In the evening, we can discuss it. It's amazing. In the last 2 months, the skills that my daughters have learned, what they contribute to the house is so different than 2 months ago, because we took the same basic concept of what do we want them to be able to do, right? We wanted our 7-year-old to be able to cook lunch, make her own breakfast, obviously clean up after herself, those sorts of things. So we created training on how to do those things, and we had a daily meeting, and now she does all those things. So these systems can impact your life in way more ways than just your business. A
couple of things you said that really hit home, and I think should be said again, is one that you realized, you figured out, you wrote down what you love to do, what you're good at, and what makes you money, and you don't do, and some of that stuff you don't even do anymore, because, as you grow, you have to go, all right, what do I love now that I'm at this point? Because as you grow, things change. So you have to, when people say, well, I want to get to 10 closings a month.
Yeah.
Well, if you do things to get to 10 closings a month, it's not, can you do the same at 10 as you can at 20? Can you do the same as at 20 as you can at 30? So you have to think differently as you grow. There's more headaches, there's more people, there's more training. So I think the most important thing is record everything that you do on a daily basis as if you are going to train somebody on it, because you don't know when the time is going to come. You go, hey, I need somebody to do this for you. Oh, I got a video on that. Boom. And you throw it over to them, and here's what I'm looking for. Here's a great question coming in. First, before I ask the question, what's the VA thing that you said, MOB or something like that? What's
MOD.
that called?
So MOD, is my outdesk. Yeah,
Okay.
Daniel Ramsey. They have thousands and thousands of VA employees, and they connect professionals, real estate agents to those VAs. They do a great job. I mean, I know there's been some complaints out there, but they did a phenomenal job for us. They have the VA has a coach that checks in with me monthly to make sure they're doing well. They have, I think, daily check-ins. They can only be inactive on their computer for 5 minutes or less. They have random check-ins from different staff, and they have to respond within 2 minutes. So there's a lot of management that's happening to those VAs. You're instead of paying $3 to $5 an hour for that VA, you're going to pay $9, right?
Yeah.
But basically, you're going to get a college graduate that's got a lot of intelligence that's managed by somebody else for $9 an hour.
Yeah. You don't have to pay benefits. You don't have to pay all that stuff. They're a 1099 employee. I'll write off too.
They're not going to file family leave. They're not.
Yes.
You're not going to deal with any of those headaches.
Yes, that's a great idea. Question by Scott: tips and tricks by vetting VAs, or it sounds like you just let MOD do that.
Well, actually, to be honest, the only VA that we had that was for mod was the first one. So what's unbelievable is because they understand the culture, and we hired such a good first VA. They're able. So you're going to have issues, cultural issues, and you're going to have technology issues that you don't deal with when you have someone here. So, for example, they live in an island where there's, typhoons and all sorts of weather events that brings their power down. So we require that all of our VAs have 2 internet providers. And so our VA helps us with all that. She goes, here's the great internet providers, here's the great plans, So she is able to vet if they have the right technology. She's able to tell us, what the cultural customs are, and because they have different holidays, they have different bonus feature in their holiday structure. So she was able to warn me like, hey, if you want to pay this person this much at the end of the year, you need to actually pay them less during the year because there's an expectation that there's a 13-month bonus. So factor that in. So she's so good to us that she vets the Filipino aspect for us and creates us, and we're in cultural compliance, if you will, because of her. And then, so we only hired one through MOD, and our costs, of course, went from $9 an hour down to anywhere from $1.80 to $5 an hour.
Wow. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the thing that will challenge, that will make you guys' head hurt, is you're going to pay $9 an hour, they're going to turn around and pay these people $3 to $5 an hour.
Yeah, but that's their job. They're vetting them. They're taking care of them. They're making sure that you're getting the right service because otherwise they wouldn't have a business. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah, and for most, it's worth every penny because is $4 an hour of your time. Your time's not worth $4 an hour. So there's a lot of cases where it's absolutely worth it. In small businesses where you might feel the impact of $1,800 a month as opposed to $800 a month. Maybe, but then again, you're going to get tied up in the minutia of managing somebody. So, and you don't always know why they're successful. You don't know how much less successful they'd be if you didn't have that management over them. So, yep.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, here's a question I'm just going to throw. Well, it's not really a question. She says, James said, I tried to have a few VAs create some postcards. I became unbelievably frustrated going back and forth by email. How or what can be done to reduce that, communicate better?
Skype, number one.
Skype, yeah, Skype.
Number one is Skype. So I love Skype. There's obviously other platforms you can use, but Skype is free. It's a very commonly used platform over there.
Yeah.
Did he say he was in the Philippines, or what country is he in?
James, he didn't say. He just said he has had a VA create some postcards, so I don't know, virtual assistant of some sort.
Yeah, so I choose the Philippines for a very specific reason. Their national language is English. There's a lot of respect for the U.S. because of our treaties over the years. So there's a lot of positive thoughts in their minds about us compared to maybe some of the other countries. The other thing too is you want to make sure you hire a truly good graphic designer. We've hired graphic designers that have been pretty bad, but there's unbelievable graphic designers that you can hire for $20 a day or $25 a day that will be with you all day if you want them to be. And, we had one on part-time for a long time. She had another job. And, yeah, it's really, quality of your instructions compared to the quality of their skill set, right? I would make sure that they have a bachelor's degree in graphic design. You can probably get someone for $25 to $30 a day that has a master's degree in design. And so, if you're willing to pay $40 for that design, you could have like a website mock-up. So yeah, and obviously, graphics are really, really subjective. So yeah, obviously the quality of your instructions are huge.
Yeah. We're actually, I'll throw this out there, we're actually building a couple things that are going to be pretty cool for 2017. Postcards, flyers, you actually go and enter your information, put in your logo, you're done. So we're going to continue to build that thing out. It should be pretty cool. And I'm building it for Agent Mastermind for real estate agents, so and loan officers too. But it's supposed to be pretty cool. Hey, somebody else said, who is your coach? Somebody asked me way back when who your coach is.
Yeah, so my coach right now for that hire her name's Brinley. But I have a lot of coaches. So, I'm a coach, and I have a lot of coaches. I think the coaching role is probably the most utilized position, period. And so, I have a coach that coaches me in business, and then I subscribe to a ton of mentors. I fly out and see guys like Jeff Cohn, Joshua Smith, all those guys. I'm reaching out. I was on a podcast with Greg Harrelson. I'm always reaching out to Mastermind with the best. I'm willing to pay them what their fee is. I don't care if they're going to charge me $5,000 a day to spend a day with them, $10,000. It doesn't matter, right? When you look at the real estate commissions, it's worth it. So, in that particular coach for bringing on the admin, I hired a lady named Brinley. But in terms of my personal coaching, I'm very topical based. So what I'll do is I'll recognize, okay, here's a major weakness in my business. who's the best person on the planet to solve that? Or at least who's the best person that I can learn from on that topic, right? Because not everybody is going to be the best in the thing that you're learning. And it's not bad to have one single coach who's great at it all, but what I think you'll find is that obviously just like yourself, people have specialties. And so what I do is I listen to, YouTube and podcasts all the time and figure out, okay, what's this person truly good at? And is that the thing that I'm working on? And if that's, and I have 3 to 5 mentors I plan on reaching out to. I'm just not in a place in my business where their skill set is the most important thing for me yet. So,
very cool, man. Good stuff, brother. Hey, man, okay, so last one, and we'll end with this. Mary Edwards, thanks for being here. I know you said it to take a list of what needs to be done, but how do you know how many hours to start a VA or when to start? It is a little intimidating when someone is not physically here. Great question.
Yeah. So obviously, you're going to get a great idea of how long a task takes when you do a recording, because there's a timestamp on the recording, right? So in terms of monitoring how long they should be on a project, I would take your amount of time and factor in a certain learning curve and factor in that they're not here and they're not in the business. So you're getting a 10 times reduction on labor. You might have a 20% reduction in how fast they can get things done, right? So maybe if it takes you 10 minutes, maybe it'll take them 12, right, or 15. And it's going to take them a certain amount of time to ramp up. What I would say is there's so many VAs over there that don't have work, that would be dying to work with you in a way where they're like, yeah, I'll work an hour a day, and then when you get more work, I'll work 2 hours a day, right? And it may be because you have the work or don't have the work, and it may be because you have to create these recordings, right, to give them things to do. Right. Yeah, so I would just say start them off on an hour a day, and then you can move up from there.
Well, here's, and being that depending on how you hire them at $3-4 an hour, I had mine sitting around just for when I needed something to do. I mean, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, especially when you find a good one, I'm okay writing that check every week or every month or whatever, every other week, whatever it is. So it's just nice to have somebody there. Like little things like, hey, take this PDF and turn it into an Excel, or like all these little things you just normally, hey, check my email. And I had people, go through email and remove all the spam so I don't have any spam left. There's always something they can do to free up your time, which causes you to do the stuff that you should be doing to grow your business, or go home and enjoy your family. So,
and I train my VAs to do all sorts of cool things. Like my VAs greet me in the morning and tell me how amazing my day is going to be. Right? I mean, they're like sunshine to me. Not only are they can do things that are amazing for you. I mean, they can make your life so incredible, and treat them like top-of-the-line human beings. I've heard stories of people just kind of abusing them mentally or whatever. Oh my gosh, that is the most insane thing I've ever heard. I mean, these people are hardworking, they're loyal, and literally they'll become some of your best friends. Like, no joke. They will love you. Like, it's just awesome. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Matt, I think you're awesome, man, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing this stuff. I think it hits home for a lot of people. I love the part about the training and how to train people just by recording it, saving it, put it in file format. Just brilliant, man. Awesome way to do it. And that's the first time I've heard of screen. I put Screencast-O-Matic. So yeah, man, good stuff. So man, I'd love to have you back on someday just to share. And if you guys want to stay in contact with Matt and make sure that you get all his upcoming software products and launches, he's always coming up with something. He's growing. He's on the move. He's awesome. Go to coaching@teamkavanaugh.com. It's on the screen right there, and of course he put his cell phone out there, which is very graciously. Dude, there's a lot of people here, so I hope that don't abuse Matt's cell phone, please. So just go get another one, right? Or do it.
Well, I mean, with iPhones, it's so easy to press block or whatnot. Right, I'm a teacher at heart, right? I'm here to serve. Yeah, I'm here to help people grow their businesses. So, we want to help people get out of a life of prison and be able to really, live a great life. So.
Well, awesome, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, bro. Look forward to having you back on class someday, and I'll get you this recording so you can share it with stuff, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Scott.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here on Agent Mastermind. If you're joining us for the first time, go to facebook.com/groups/Agent Mastermind, and we'll see you same time, same place, right here on the web. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.